98% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't lived the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and damn, they sent me where the life is be. The level 4 with depth and fight, the type of shit they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die, get chump. Never been a bitch, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get punked, and some sexually brutalized. I knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, bulldogs and skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF and Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. The Northerners was loony, quick to ride up on their rivals. Even Christians went to church, hiding knives up in their Bibles. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damoos, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pop rules, the Hustlers quick to roll, the Gangsta Crips move. Whatever click you choose, you better stick to the rules. Anybody can get hit, so never get the shit confused. Dudes big as Terry Crews, screaming, running for the guard. When your pistol goes, is you gon' still be hard.
Say, what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe. Most importantly, hit that notification bell. That way, anytime I drop a video, you will be notified ASAP, and you can hop on it whenever you're ready, man. Like I told y'all, the flow is nothing like Curtis Blow. Yeah, that's me gassing, man. If you want to check out some more of my music, go to my YouTube playlist. Go to gas stations and you're going to find a lot of it there, man. Let's hop right up into this video. Now, this video right here is talking about after I was charged with an attempted murder and I went on the run. Now, some of you guys might say, I heard this story before. No, this is a brand new story. You may have heard of me explain a portion of this story of how I got away from the police. But outside of that, this is the brand new story. So anyway, man, look, I'm in Billings, Montana, man. I end up running out of drugs, right? So I say, you know what? I'm gonna slide back to Cali, get some more work. So this is 1993, around Father's Day, I think in June, somewhere around there, right? So I'm at a party, me and my good friend, man, OZ, rest in peace to the homie OZ. Me and OZ is at a party, some things jump off. Long story short, me and OZ is charged with a few attempted murders, right? Our name come out in the paper and all that old type of stuff. So we both go on the run. Well, initially, I go back to I'm in California. Initially, I go back to Montana. I'm driving around there a couple of days, and at this time, I'm on probation in Montana. I have to report, I think, every 2 weeks or every week or something like that. So I'm driving around. They know where I stay at because, like I say, I'm on probation. I've been out there a couple of years, 3 or 4 years. So initially I'm thinking, oh, well, you know what? They're not even tripping on me, even though I had talked to my mom and she told me that my name and the homie OZ's name was in the newspaper, right? So it's like a day or two before I have to go report to my probation officer. So I happened to get pulled over. Now, I had several cars. I had 3 or 4 cars at the time. I had just brought a car up from California that I had took and got painted. It was a green Toyota Corolla. I had got painted at a paint shop in San Bernardino, Evans. Anyway, so I drive that car back, but I'm not in that car. I'm in another one of my other cars. And this car is relatively new that I had just purchased. So anyway, the police pulled me over in that. I'm wondering like, damn, how do they know that I'm in here? You know, so anyway, they tell me, you know, driver, step out. You know, they start doing the felony stop. I'm in the car with my homegirl. I say, man, I don't feel like going to jail today. Damn. So when they pull me to the back, you know, he tell me, put your hands on your head. I put one head back there. He said, now give me your other hand. Pshoo, I get up. I'm out of there. I take off running, you know. Pshoo. At this time, man, I'm like 20 years old. You know, I'm 140 pounds, man. I'm fast as lightning. I'm out of there. He running behind me. He can't catch me. I'm gone, you know. So I run through this little alley and just so happened I was around the corner from one of my good friends, a pimp by the name of PC. But now he happened to stay in the back in this like a basement apartment, but I don't know how far back the police is, so I don't want to run in his house. So I run past his house and because he's in the back of another house, and I run in the back of that other house, they have like a little garage back there. So I run inside the garage, man. And it's dark up in there. So I must have tripped over everything, man. Pogo sticks, roller skates, you know what I'm saying? Sled, skis, all type of stuff. I'm making a whole bunch of noise. I'm falling over stuff. I'm like, damn, I know the police gonna catch me. Soon as I quiet down, I hear his footsteps. So he run past. He didn't see me go up in there. So now I peek out real quick. I don't see nobody. I go back the way I came. Now I double back and go to PC's house. Just so happened when I run to PC's house and I knock on the door is open. I open up the door. He said, what's going on? I said, hey man, the police is chasing me. He said, go on in there, man, and hide. So he tell me to go in the room, and I go in there and I lay down. Now, like I said, it's a basement apartment. So I can look out now. And as I look up in a few minutes, I see a whole bunch of, police out there walking around. I hear them ask two little kids, hey man, did you see a guy? Did you see a guy run past here? I'm thinking they gonna say, oh yeah, he ran up in there. But they said, no, we didn't see nothing. So I'm in there, my heart pounded. So, they out there searching for hours and hours. So I made a call to my homie, Dante. I took several of my homies out to Montana with me. I made a call to Dante. I told him, hey man, come pick me up. So about 4 or 5 hours, he come picks me up and he takes me to one of my girlfriend houses. Maybe about 3 or 4 in the morning, he takes me to Denver, Colorado, actually Aurora. You guys may have heard me speak about my cousin, Chris Booty. Well, at that time, Chris Booty, my cousin Monica, and also my cousin James, and my Aunt Shirley was out there. So I had several family out there in Denver, Colorado. So we left maybe about 3 or 4 in the morning, maybe about 7 or 8 o'clock. They came over there, raided the house and stuff. But hey, man, you gotta be quicker than that, because I'm out of there. You know what I'm saying? So I stay down there. So I go to, like I say, I'm actually in Aurora, which is like maybe, it's a city right next to Denver, right? So I'm out there for a while, maybe a couple days. I get a hold of my brother and I ask him if he could drive my car out to Denver, Denver is maybe about 6 or 8 hours. I don't remember exactly how much from Billings, Montana. So now he brings my car out there. So now, like I said, now this car, I got a fresh paint job on it. I got it like candy paint green. I got it trimmed in gold, Actually, so I get the car painted in California. Now, when I get the car painted, I wanted to put some Daytons on it, but they said, oh, the Daytons, they had to order them, and it would be maybe about 3 or 4 days, and I had to get back to Montana. So I bought some rims that resembled Daytons. They was called Roasters. They was with the gold, spin-offs and all that old type of stuff. So now, due to the fact that this car looks the way it is, and I'm on the run for this attempted murder, I'm extremely skeptical about having a weapon in the car, because I know that, being in California, now keep in mind, this is 1993. So being in California at that time, if you was black, driving in anything that had rims on it and looked like you was selling drugs, which I was, the police is supposed to pull you over. A lot of times in California, they would even ask me for a driver's license. They would immediately tell me to get out and sit on the curb. So that had me extremely skeptical, because I don't want to have a gun in the car. Then they find the gun, then take me downtown, and I'm already on the run for this attempted murder, right? So I'm driving around out there now. It's summertime. And also keep in mind, this is 1993. I had been in Billings. I had pretty much been living in Billings since 89. And so it's extremely different out there, in Aurora. Aurora had a much bigger black population. They had a lot of soul food restaurants. So, it's summertime, man. I'm riding around in this car. It's 1993. I bump it. I got the sounds, And so, yeah, it's good out there, Now, around that time, I'd heard the rapper DJ Quick. He came out with a song called Just Like Compton. And he was naming all these other hoods, all these other states that he had went to, basically giving them their props, saying that, even though I'm from Compton, it's a lot of different states that's wild, they gang banging or whatever. He mentioned Denver, but he also mentioned it in kind of a decent way. I guess he was out there. He got some stuff with some dudes. And, they threw beer on him or whatever. But man, Denver, they was off the chain, man. They was out there gang banging. I believe 1993 was called the Summer of Violence, And so it was a lot of time now. it was a lot of times I would see dudes out there, sometimes I would see a lot of Crips out there with a blue rag in their right pocket and it's supposed to be in their left. So it was, the gang banging stuff was just getting out there. You had some dudes who really didn't know what they was doing. But at the same time, man, it was off the chain. The violence was off the chain out there. And one thing I noticed about out there, it seemed like you had more random violence on people who was not gang members. I remember that the owner of a skateboard shop got shot and killed driving down the street. Some lady got robbed for her purse. I think there was a shooting at a park called City Park, and a little boy or something got hit in the head. So it was extremely wild, and then they had some hoods out there. It was a lot of hoods out there from LA. It was a lot of dudes out there from LA. I ran across some Harlem 30s, some Crenshaw Mafias, some Rolling 60s, some Raymonds, they used to call California the land. Hey man, you from the land, but you also had some hometown gangs. Two gangs specifically that I remember is Park Hill Bloods. They was out there notorious. They was doing their stuff, and I believe it was like some 33rd Street, West 33rd Street or something like that, trades or something, So you also had several hometown gangs, somewhat beefing with the LA gang. So it was definitely off the chain, man. And then one thing I liked about being out there also, let me go back to this. Like I said, it was really off the chain, man. The violence, they was out there gang banging, shooting. So I believe at one point it was a pastor out there, and he said that God told him, I believe it was to climb on top of his church and stay there. He was not coming down until the gangs stopped killing each other. We all know how that turned out. God must have told him maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, hey man, you know what? Go on down and get you a sandwich and take you a rest. Because he brought his ass off the top of that roof, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, man, one thing I liked about being out there, like I say, I'm coming from Billings, Montana, basically. And now my cousin is staying out there, Chris Booty. And yeah, that's his real name. My cousin at the time, Chris, is probably about 26, 27. And so now he done found out all these different clubs out there. So damn near every night from Sunday to Sunday, it's a different club that's popping. Some of the names that I remember, you had a club called Bernard's, you had a club called Grenadines, you had a club called Chez Celeste. Some of these clubs was 25 and older, and so you had to be dressed in a certain attire, and if you wasn't 25, they wouldn't let you in. Sometimes I would manage to weasel my way in with a fake ID or just be dressed, nice, and they would let me in, right? And some of those clubs was cool because they kept a lot of the BS down that you would find at the younger clubs. Like I say, I believe that club Grenadine was either in the 5 points or somewhere near the 5 points, and it was kind of wild and off the hook, right? So like I say, man, I'm riding around in this green car. I think I may find a picture and put it up for you guys, and I don't got a gun with me because I don't want to get pulled over and they find the gun. So I'm outside club, I believe it was Chez Celeste, which is down in Denver, man. I'd never forget, it was some gang banging looking dudes. Now, of course, I used to do it a lot, what people call parking lot pimping, hang out in the parking lot. I'm in this car, with this nice paint job, these rims, these music. I'd pull a lot of girls like that just hanging out, man. I remember 3 dudes walked up to me, man. Actually 3 dudes was walking. One dude separated from the crowd. He came in from, now I got the windows down. It's me and my cousin Chris Booty. He came in from Chris Booty's side and peeked up in the window. He said, hey man, you ever been carjacked? I said, man, if you don't get your buster ass away from the car, I reached up under the seat. I'm pump faking. I ain't got no gun up in there. And then I hear one of his homies in the background say, oh man, don't worry about it, man. Them ain't no Daytons. Come on. So yeah, man, I was mad, I was mad, man. And then it was right after that happened, my cousin said, oh, right there. You heard somebody got hit in the jaw and they started squabbing out there. Boop, beep, 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 boop, bop, boop, bop, bop. A lot of Crips and Bloods, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 people started shooting. So we got up out of there, man. Like I say, Denver was wild and off the chain. So now me, one night I'm chilling, man. I'm laid up, I got a girl over out in, I didn't met somewhere. We laid up chilling. But me, man, I'm being greedy. It's maybe about 1 or 2 in the morning. So I tell the girl, I said, hold on, I said, I have to go pick up my Aunt Shirley, may she rest in peace. I have to go pick my Aunt Shirley up from bingo, which was a lie. What I wanted to do, it was a club. I think the name of it was Bernard's, if I'm not mistaken. It was a club in the next city over from from Aurora, known as Montbello. And this was a big old giant club, and they let out around 2 or whatever time it was, and there would be a lot of beautiful women out there, and I'd go out there and I'd hang out, and I'd hang out and stuff, and I'd pull a lot of women just hanging out and stuff, posted up. So maybe it's about 1:45, so I want to leave in time enough to get over to the club, because at a certain point in time, a lot of times they would barricade the entrances from coming in due to the large crowd, people out there hanging out in the parking lot. So I leave and stuff a little early. Now, my cousin Chris Booty, he stayed on a street known as Dayton Street. Now, out there, they had a long street by the name of Colfax, and the streets were alphabetically labeled. So 2 streets would, it would be 2 streets that would start with A, then B, then C, and so on and so forth. So my cousin Chris, he stayed kind of like this seedy area on Dayton Street across from these apartments. A lot of people would refer to these apartments as the Carter Apartments, because they resembled the Carter Apartments in that movie New Jack City, which had recently came out. My cousin James, which is Chris's brother, he stayed a few streets over on Geneva Street. And so I leave, I go back towards Montbello. So now I stop at 7-Eleven to run in there and get me a Slurpee or whatever. Now, as I'm coming out, 3 dudes who look like they gang banging or whatever, they're pulling up, and one of them say, "Hey, homie, hey." They see me going to the green car. They say, "Hey, homie, hey, let me holler at you." I already know what type of time these dudes on. I said, "No, man, I'm on a mission, Lope. I'll get at you later." I hop in the car and I go on the run. I send for my homie OZ. I sent him a bus ticket and enough money to get some work, and he come up there on the bus with about 18 ounces. And so I'm selling a little work out there, but I end up sending the work on to Montana, because out there I believe an ounce was going for somewhere around 800 or 1,000. And at that time in Montana, I could get double that. So anyway, like I say, now I'm leaving this 7-Eleven. These dudes is trying to flag me down, but I push past that. I see they on some, they on some nonsense. I don't know what they trying to do. So now, from that particular 7-Eleven, the club is maybe about 10 minutes away. So I drive down the street. I'm going towards the club now. So now, as I'm entering Montbello, the club happens to be on the left-hand side. So now I'm going down. It's like a 4-lane street, and you actually have to you have to pass the club up like maybe 2 or 3 blocks, and then make a U-turn and come back to the club on the other side of the street. Now, it's like a 4-lane street. The first 2 lanes, the first 2 left-handed lanes, you can make U-turns. The second or the next 2 lanes, you're supposed to go straight, right? So like I say, I got a little time to spare, so I'm driving, I'm taking my time. Now, as I get to the light, I'm in the 2nd lane. The 3rd lane is empty, and then I'm in the 2nd lane. The 3rd lane is a van, and then the right lane, I believe all of a sudden I see a car pull up. I believe I see those dudes who I just seen at the 7-Eleven, so they over there, they looking at me and stuff or whatever. So, but they going straight, like they going up towards Montbello. I'm busting a U back toward the club. So when the light turned green, I go ahead, I make my U-turn. They let the van in between us go, and then they bust a U-turn, which was an illegal U, because they was, by the way the lanes is designated, they were supposed to go straight. So now, of course, my head is on the swivel. So now I'm driving back. I'm trying to get to the club, but either I didn't got there too late or something didn't happen, because it's a gang of police out there and they got it barricaded. So now I can't go in. So now I'm driving, I'm looking in the mirror, paying attention to the car that's behind me. And now that car is flying. That car is coming real fast, right? Like right up behind me. So I get over to let the car go by. As the car is passing, all of a sudden at my back window, I hear blah. I'm like, damn, what the hell is going on, right? I'm like, damn. So now the Toyota that I'm in, it's a stick shift. So like I say, I'm going fast. So when I hear the blah, blow at the back window. I hit the brakes. So now all of a sudden I try to bust another U-turn. I'm not paying attention. It's a car coming the same way. Pow! We crashed right into the car. I'm like, damn, but hey, I look at that stuff later on, so I get up out of here because these dudes done shot at me or whatever, right? And like I say now, I'm familiar with all this violence and stuff going on out here in Denver. I ain't got no strap. I'm trying to get up out of there. Oh, so let me say this too. When the back window go off, blow, and we hit the car and we crash, right? So the car stopped. All of a sudden, a dude in the front seat of that other car, he jumps out the car. He starts walking toward me. I'm thinking like, damn, is this the way I'm supposed to go out? I'm like, man, shit is getting crucial. So the dude was maybe about 10 or 15 feet up. He's coming back toward me, just one dude out the car. All of a sudden, he turns back around. I don't know if they called him or whatever. All of a sudden he turns back around and starts heading back towards his car. And so that's all of a sudden when I made that U-turn and turn and crash into the other car. But I like, it's whatever. I check out the damage later on. So I go back up the way I came. I bust that U-turn again. Like I say, it's a bunch of police cars out there. So I go down a few feet to where I can finally pull over up under the light, right? And see the damages on the car and all that old type of stuff. See they done shot the car and all this stuff. So now I get out the car. I walk back to the window. My window ain't broke. It's like some wet stuff on my window. So I wipe my hand on it. I said, damn, what the hell is this? I smell it. I guess they had threw a beer bottle at the car. Man, my heart is beating like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. My heart is still beating fast though. I'm like, man, them dudes damn near, excuse me, I'm thinking like, damn, I'm thinking the dudes at first had shot up in the car. My heart beating, So I go to the house. I tell myself, man, that's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just to go get a gun. I don't care. They just gonna have to catch me with the gun, because at that time, Denver was still one of them states where as long as you had a Denver ID or a driver's license, you could purchase a gun right over the counter. There was no waiting period. So one of my cousins took me down the next day and I got me a gun. I said, yeah, I got to get strapped, man. It is what it is. If I get caught with the gun, I just get caught with the gun. I ain't tripping. That situation right there had my heart beating. So maybe about 2 days later, I'm driving around. And like I said, it's summertime. My car is nice. I'm young, I got a couple big chains on my neck, So I used to like to ride around by certain little spots, swimming pools or whatever, where these parks where these girls be hanging out, and holler at these females. So now one day I'm out, I'm out solo bolo, and the homie OZ, he used to cruise with me some, but he didn't like cruising with me a lot. And I'll tell y'all why in my next video, right? But so one day I'm out there, I'm cruising solo bolo, right? I pull up in a 7-Eleven. All of a sudden, a brown car come pulling up behind me. It was a bucket. I don't remember which, but I pull up in 7-Eleven. A brown car come flying up in there, like block me in. But now, unfortunately for them, I got the thing with me, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't tripping. So soon as the car slide up behind me, plus, my head is always on the swivel. Soon as the car slide up behind me, I open the door, I jump out. I got the thing pointed. I run back there. I got the gun pointed in their head facial area. But to my surprise, it's a girl in the car. She like, oh, what you doing? What you doing? I said, what you doing? You about to get you a new hairdo. Talking about, yeah, I'm just to put a few shots up in your head, rearrange your wig piece. Sliding up on me like that. You don't know I'm out here. I'm nervous, I'm on the run. I'm thinking people trying to jack me. She said, oh no. She said, I had seen you drive past the swimming pool about 2 weeks ago. I've been trying to catch you. I want to talk to you. I'm seeing you again. I wanted to get at you. So me and her started talking, man. Her name is Niecy Bell. She was a dark-skinned chocolate girl, man. So if anybody out there happen to know Niecy Bell out there in Aurora, who lived out in Aurora, tell her I said hi, man. Hey, so yeah, we started talking. If I'm not mistaken, you would go up a street by the name of Florida, and she lived in some apartments, right? But anyway, so this is how I meet Niecy and stuff like that, right? But Niecy, like I say, damn near got put in the coffin running up on the back of my car like that. So maybe about a week or two later, I'm leaving my cousin. Man, my cousin sells weed, right? It's me and the homie OZ. Now, I've been knowing OZ probably since I was about 5-6 years old, My dad and his grandfather was extremely good friends. My mom and his mom is great friends still to this day. OZ, unfortunately, man, he got killed at a house party, I believe somewhere in 1998, 99, somewhere, but I'll speak about that later, man. But so OZ stayed back and forth between Banning and San Bernardino. He had some family who had some ties to Watts, and they was bounty hunter bloods. And so this is what OZ was claiming, man. But regardless of him, claiming to be a blood, this is my dog. We've been good friends. Actually, OZ was the second dude that I took to Montana with me. So anyway, me and OZ is out there. We on the run. We wanted for these attempted murders or whatever. And so we going to my cousin James's house. So we happen to be leaving, right? And there's a dude coming over. I guess somebody that my cousin James knew, black dude, maybe about 5'9", 5'10". About 155 pounds, kind of slender like myself, and he says, hey, blood, one of y'all got a light for my biggerette? Now, like I say, my homie OZ, he's a blood. Now, during those times, I would be dressed like in athletic looking stuff, Nike shorts with a shirt, some basketball shoes, Nike shoes, like I'm going to play basketball, which I did a lot. I played a lot of basketball, but now I got these big old gold chains on my neck though. So when he said, hey, blood, one of y'all got a light for my biggerette, or whatever he said along those lines, but he definitely said biggerette. OZ, my homie OZ, he like, hey, yeah, what's up? I got one for you right here. So OZ go in his pocket, get a dude a light. Dude like, oh yeah, thanks, blood. Him and OZ is talking for a minute or whatever. I'm just sitting off to the side, So the dude say, hey, blood, where you from? He talking to me, right? I tell him, hey, homie, I ain't no blood. He said, but where you from, no blood? And so now I'm doing this. Now I'm kind of like being sarcastic. Like, I know you ain't talking to me. He like, yeah, homie, where you from? I tell him I'm from Two Piece Gangsters. He said, what? I said, I'm from Two Piece Gangsters. He like, man, what is that? Beep, boop, bop, boop, bop. I hop on him, give him a cold 3-piece though. He fall up against he was going I guess he's going to my cousin James's house maybe to buy some weed or whatever. So he's right there. We're coming off the porch. He's right there by the door, like where you open the door, but he's a little to the right. So now, when you open that screen door, he's in that little crack, that area right there. So like I say, I give him that 3-piece. Bing, 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 bing. Get up on him real tough. All of a sudden, he go to swimming like Michael Phelps. I step back, I'm on him. Bing, 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 bing. I'm on him. Lefts and rights with all my might. You know what I'm saying? So now, as he's up against the screen door, all he's doing is swimming, throwing wild punches. I'm on him. Bang, bang, boom. Bang, boom, boom, bam. I'm on him. Now, at some point, he go to hollering, get him, get him, get him. Like my homie OZ is on his side. I don't know if he thought because both of them was bloods or had blood affiliations or whatever, he was going to help him. But I don't know if y'all also be paying attention to my stories way back when I first started telling them. I would say from time to time when I would fight, I had a move where I would reach down and grab the back of somebody's ankle and snatch their leg up in the air. And so that's what I did to him. I pulled his leg up in the air. Now I got his leg. Now I'm pulling him off the porch, pulling him into the front yard a little bit. So once I get him off the porch a little bit, I swoop his other leg, I kick his other leg up from under him, and he fall on his back. Bam! And once he fall on his back, I'm on him. Boom, bam, boom, boom. Now I'm just dogging him, kicking him and stuff. All of a sudden, he go to hollering again, get him, get him, get him. So now the homie OZ, he like, hey, chill, come on, that's enough, chill, that's enough, that's enough. Because like I said, now he know, I'm strapped. I got this gun on me. It's the middle of daytime, and both of us is on the run for this, for these attempted murders or whatever. So I think I may have hit him a time or two, and we hop in the car and we get on, man. We go to laughing and stuff. He like, man, chill, you crazy, man. We was laughing. He like, hey, chill, homie, you lied to him. I'm like, lied to him? What you talking about? He said, man, you told him you was from 2-piece gangster, but you gave him a 3-piece. And we fell out, man. And that used to be our little inside joke from time to time. Hey, homie, where you from? I'm from 2-piece gangster, homie. So, because back in those days, man, when you hit a dude up, that's what we was calling it. That's what people used to call it back then, hitting somebody up. You basically approaching them and asking them what gang they're from, 9 times out of 10, that was a confrontational question. And if a person happened to say he was from the wrong gang or from a gang that you didn't like or you beefed with, then y'all was going to get cracking. No, so asking a person, hey, homie, where you from? That was confrontational. I wasn't tripping on the fact that dude was a blood. Like I said, my homie OZ is a blood road dog. You know what I'm saying? But once I told him, hey, homie, I'm not no blood or whatever, I felt that he should have left me alone, But once he kept pushing the issue, I told him, man, I'm from 2-piece gangster. You know what I'm saying? He like, like, what's that? What is that? You know, like he had never heard of it. So yeah, I showed him, man. Yeah, I'm gonna give you this 3-piece actually. But anyway, man, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.
Off that life, we gon' see the shit you own and where you still be stepping when your pistol gone.
Ain't no Dracos or Fofos, and you will not be saved by the COs. Sometimes it's not even safe when the doors close. Just knife play and hand-to-hand combat in a land where it's never combat. Fake tough guys and actors sometimes get forced to put their boxers on backwards.